Man, this Coldplay affair thing is going crazy. We got some updates for you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. It's Kim, and I am here with Andy, who is on vacation. Of course, we got to stop and talk about this. We have to.
Yeah, well, honestly, the real reason I'm talking about this is because Blake Lively is trying to defame me while I'm on vacation. What did I say, Kim, that she'd bring this back in? I'm taping a video with Nate, the lawyer, for you guys as well, but I figured while we're waiting for him, there have been so many updates on this as well, and so many of you guys have gotten invested. The whole world is connected in this, Kim. Let's talk about this first, since I already broke away, because yes, there's a lot to digest. And honestly, I do have some strong opinions, Kim. But stay tuned. A lot of you keep asking about my response to the Blake Lively docket, if you will. It's coming. Stay tuned. But in the meanwhile, Kim, yes, what are the updates here regarding this? Are we calling it the Coldplay affair? Is that the term now?
I don't know. I'm hearing Coldplay Kiss Cam, Coldplay Cuddle, Coldplay. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm sure there will be like a Coldplay Gate type name or something that'll come out soon. But I will say over the weekend we had quite a few updates. To begin, first of all, this gentleman, Andy Byron, who was the CEO of Astronomer and was caught on that camera, has officially stepped down from the company. We did actually get an official statement. And something I want to be really clear about as we've gone through this is there has been so much misinformation that has been spread while all of this has just gone bananas. There were a couple statements that came out that were reportedly from him. Everything I'm seeing, not accurate. This is the only statement to my knowledge that has been official, and it's basically, as stated previously, Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met, and Andy Byron has tendered his resignation, and the board of directors has accepted. So that's it. That's it for him. He's out, which I don't think is a huge surprise to anyone. It does. I mean, I would assume it would depend on the policies within the company, but this is definitely not a good look for a CEO. But of course, things continued over the weekend. I mean, we had this bizarre type of coverage of different businesses making their own jokes about it. We had this with the Phillies on their kiss cam of, the mascots having
That was
their own
pretty great.
moment.
I gotta say, the Philly fanatic really stepped up there. That was a good one.
Oh
I
yeah.
like the "This is my wife" sign. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
it just kept going. So it's like everybody's kind of getting in on the fun of everything. I think my favorite response though a little bit was Chris Martin himself. Thank you to Monica on Weekly Coldplay on Twitter for sharing this. Let me just see here. I'm trying to make sure that I can get the sound up here.
We'd like to say hello to some of you in the crowd.
So warning, we're gonna say hi to you all.
How we're going to do that is we're going to use our cameras and put some of you on the big screen.
He's trying to let you know. He's trying to let
Notice,
everybody
Kim,
know.
Kim, notice that's implied consent. Just to be, we'll talk about that in the next video, which a lot of people, lawyers, think. Oh, anyway, yeah. When you
Yeah.
step into those venues, you give up your consent. When you go on a recorded line, you give up your consent, unless you say otherwise. But we'll talk about that. But I wanted to comment because I've had a lot of discussions as someone who was, destroyed by the internet and through memes and everything on my own actions that I'm not in no way trying to take away. Like I look at all this in a different perspective. And I saw that some people got mad at me for feeling bad for everybody involved. I still do. This guy's a father. This guy's got kids. He could be a total scumbag. It doesn't mean he didn't mess up. We're all human. We all mess up. Is it too much? Is a discussion that I think we should all have. Like, at what point is it too much? Because you got to remember, sure, maybe the guy deserves some dunking. He was so brazen in the way he went out there in front of a whole, a section. It wasn't even like he was standing amidst the crowd and got spot out. He stood up in front of a crowd and like was just macking on his side piece, who was the head of HR. So don't get it twisted. This guy deserves to be called out in a way. But no one really knows what it's like when the entire world, this is the entire world, Kim. I feel like both political spectrums have like stopped warring to all agree about this affair. And no one really understands what that's like until you're there. And I could tell you, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, Kim.
And I will interrupt you, Eddie, on that because I will say it was very interesting. The woman who recorded the video has done an interview, and in this interview, she did say that she I think she has some regrets about the situation, But basically, she was asked, "Would you have posted it again? Looking back, do you feel guilty at all?" And her response was, "I feel for Andy's wife, Megan, his family, and everyone else who has been hurt in the process. But as I said, there were over 50,000 people, and I'm not the only one who caught it on camera. So if it wasn't me who uploaded, I'm sure somebody else would have." And I think that that is an absolute that's the take. 100%. I agree with her
Yeah.
on that front. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, your take in some way is similar to hers, that it sucks that the family has been brought into this, that there's been all this stuff going on. I also will say again with the misinformation, one of the women that was shown in the video, this woman that had kind of her face was red and she looked very embarrassed, and some people tried to identify her as this employee at Astronomer, and it is not her. She was misidentified. So we kind of made a joke that like, you knew. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. So we're clearing the record on that. I don't want to drag this
Why
woman.
we didn't show her name? Yeah, we didn't show her name or photo.
No.
But yeah, look, that's exactly my point of like, yes, this guy deserved the dunking. What he did was horrible. Like, in no way am I endorsing what he did, but it has ramifications beyond what people realize. And when it becomes a meme across global scale like this, people can consider unaliving themselves, right? And you got to remember, as much as you think this guy's a scumbag, he's a father to kids who aren't going to think that and may have different opinions, and they're allowed to have those opinions. And this guy needs to go through therapy and like sort his life out. And I 100% support that. If he owns this, takes accountability and rights his wrongs, everybody should be able to come back to society and learn from it. I get it's weird, Kim, because people still try to dig up my past as if I'm some bad guy. But I gravitate towards people who mess up in life and actually take that to make themselves better, because I learned those people are the more mature, real human beings in the world who are more patient, more full of forgiveness. And yes, we're in the memes are funny. I can't lie. I've laughed about it. My wife and I have all laughed. But we've all come around now to a point where it's so big that it's like, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit, because it's not just him. Like, he's got his lashes. This dude's now fired. I wonder how he's going to do, what's going to happen to him. Everyone's like, well, she's going to be rich. Well, he's maybe not if he doesn't continue to get a good income. So all of this affects everybody in a way that I urge everyone to like, sure, laugh privately. It is what it is. But I don't know. Part of me is like, all right, we had our fun. It's time to move on to another story. I wanted to give this update because there's so much, and I wanted to share that opinion too. And I'm curious if anybody in the comments you agree. Like, in no way am I saying this guy's okay and did what he did was right. I'm just saying the internet can take it so far, and to have the literally international spotlight on you like this, and then the family who did not ask for any of this, right? No one in that family wanted, even with blurred faces. I see real publications like publishing photos of the wife with the family photos, and I find that disgusting. That's none of my damn business. Like, leave them out of it. If you want to dunk on the guy in the kiss cam footage, fine. And even the HR lady, I think there's a lot of questions. Is it right? I mean, Kim, I ask you, like, she's ahead of HR, so that's wrong. At the same time, people are saying, well, but he was the CEO. Could it have been a power imbalance where she sort of forced this? And I'm like, interesting, but I still feel like, come on, you're married. She was married as well to another like billionaire apparently in Boston. Part of a huge group in Boston, it turns out. Do you think it should solely be the CEO's fault, or should the head of HR have to take responsibility too, knowing she was also married? She had to know her boss was married, and she was doing this as brazenly as him. Do you think they should bear equal responsibility, or because he's the CEO, is that why this is more complicated? As someone who's been in HR, Kim, I'm curious your take.
I think with the CEO, it is more complicated, but it does sound like the board has made, they have accepted the resignation, and ultimately they would also probably have to intervene on this. It's hard to know without seeing the policies myself, but ultimately, I think it's fair to say, like, this was wrong. I'm just speaking on behalf of myself. This was wrong. This was not a good look, and I don't think it's the good look for somebody who is in charge of HR either. So I'm not surprised to see that this is the way that this is going down. I I think if I was in charge, I would probably just say the both of you, you gotta go, because this is terrible for press for the company as well. And not only that, but now we're starting to see other people essentially accusing uh, this gentleman, Andy, of misconduct, like business misconduct. I have a clip here. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time to go through it, but basically, this this gentleman here, Manshredda, on Instagram exposes that he had prior dealings with Andy and another company, and that it seems there was some issues to do with the way that employees were treated and stocks, etc. It gets quite complicated. I'm not surprised that all this stuff is going to come out. It is probably going to get uglier from here. And that's unfortunate for the families that are involved. I feel them on that front, but I mean, sometimes stuff just has to come out, and it's not going to be pretty as time goes on.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff, fair game. Like if this
Yep.
guy's a scumbag and karma's hitting him, and all these previous workers are going to now. But that's the problem. Sometimes there's a lot of bitter ex-employees and people who come forward. I experienced that, and knowing the truth, I was like, "What are you doing?" There was a guy who came forward and said, "Andy farted in the office," and tried to blame it like I was abusing him. So a lot of people like to come out of the shadows and get their, points, if you will, social media points.
And to be
So
clear, we can't
you got to be
verify
careful.
that
Yeah,
gentleman's story either. Like I can't verify that. I've been
exactly.
trying to see
Now,
if I could find some investigation. I can't at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is to come. So I mean,
again, I'm not defending the Andy guy. Please, no. I'm just
yeah.
trying. As someone who's been through it, I feel like we all have to pause and verify, especially in a case like this, because these are real people, and it's someone's father. And to me, I'm not going to dunk on the guy if the kids want to try to salvage that or figure it out. That they're the victims here. The wife and the kids are the victims, and us piling on and getting our pound of flesh. It's not our right. It's their right. If they want to come out and do it, more power to them, right? That's all I'm trying to say. Is I think sometimes the internet can go too harsh in their anger and defense, but it's like it's not our place. Let the chips on, the cards fall and chips will go where they go. But all I know is this guy's screwed. This guy's screwed. He's absolutely. Now, I don't know. He's got a lot of experience. I've learned more about Astronomer than I expected. It's actually kind of an interesting business, really. And they're the huge winners in this. I don't think they're going to lose anything. I think they now, it's not their fault. They're going to gain. They'll put someone new in. Now people know what this thing is about AI and organizing the data. And it's fascinating. If you guys don't know, go look it up. There's a bunch of things that have now explained it. But I think his experience with AI, there's going to be some companies like, I don't care who you sleep with. Give me the same kind of numbers you got over there. At the end of the day, that's the other thing. Like, he might be fine in 2 years. So you got to look at it all fairly. And at a certain point, for the sake of the kids, I don't know. That's where I'm not going to lean in. And we're not going to post 100 videos on this topic. For those of you who maybe wanted, I wanted to give you guys an update. And if something massively changes, we'll let you guys know. Yeah. But there was your updates. There's where things are. Let us know what you guys think. And stay tuned because, yes, I'm interrupted in my vacation thanks to Blake, which allowed for this video and another because, man, it's a doozy. This one's a doozy, Kim. I've been sipping cocktails. Blake thinks she's bothered me. She has not. I'm enjoying my trip. Everyone's like, "Oh, Andy, how do you know where I am?" People judge me because I go offline to spend time with my family and think I'm spending their money on that. No, I'm not. I'm not. It's going towards lawyers in the documentary. You guys some of these people out there are absolute psychos, Kim.
That, and I also will say, Andy, as someone who works with you and and talks to you every day, a lot of the time when you are away, you are working. You're doing shoots. You're not. It's not like you're chilling and having a great early mornings, late nights, work.
I'm trying to this week. So anyway, all you understand and appreciate, thank you. But today, this Blake filing was too hard to ignore, and my lawyers are on it, and Nate's going to be joining us later. So tune in. I want to hype it because stay tuned. Nate's got some stuff to say, Kim, and I do as well. So subscribe, hit the buttons. Thank you, Kim. We got a lot of videos planned and banked for the rest of the week. So when you see those, know I'm finally getting my break. So enjoy those, like them, share them, and check out Kim. She'll be live later today, right, Kim?
I'm gonna try. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Go support it's Kim. Subscribe and join her live. I'm sure she'll have a lot of thoughts as well.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much.